Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Brett, one of the more interesting games of the week, one of the bigger games of the week in a division that is still wide open when we take a look at it. I mean, three good teams in that division. Of course, with the expanded playoffs, it just means a lot anyway because, at least two of these teams are going to make it. Hell, maybe three are going to make it if things break crazy. But Seattle Seahawks coming off of, as we talked about, that beat down to your Bills. They are 1.5 or 2 point dogs on the road to the Rams. I've been buying on the Seahawks all year. I got off of them last week. I didn't play the side in that one. I just played the total. I think this is where I'm going to jump off of the ship here for the Seahawks, and I think this is where I'm going to come in and back a team that I don't like because I don't like quarterbacks that I think are kind of middle of the road to bad. And I do believe that in Jared Goff, but this Seahawks team is not going to pressure him. And if he's not dealing with that, then we've seen Jared Goff be able to sit back there and actually do some stuff. And I think this Rams defense is going to be able to do enough to keep the Seahawks from putting up 1 million points again. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm selling the Seahawks this week.
Wow. I've been dreadful at having both of these teams so far this year. So this is the one game that I have not even really looked at yet as far as sides go, but I do kind of like the under. Seattle's been hitting overs every week. As Brad pointed out, this is a great over team, but these two teams don't play at a fast pace, and I think the Rams should want to slow it down and keep the ball out of the hands of Russell Wilson. We've seen McVay do that quite a bit under his tenure. So the under 54 is my play here. I think you're right. I think the Rams will be able to have success stopping the Seattle offense and slow it down and play at their pace. So that's kind of the way I'm looking. I'm curious to see what you guys think about size here, though. Well, it sounds like Matt is on the Rams, but Brad.
Yeah, Brad, look, this thing's 1.5. It's kind of that, 1.5, 2. You can't get a 2. I see that there is a 2 at FanDuel and PointsBet if you want to get in on those two places. 1.5 pretty much everywhere else across the industry. I mean, there's no doubt the Seahawks offense is really good. There's no doubt that they're going to be able to score some points. There is also very, very little doubt that this is on pace to be one of the historically bad pass defenses in NFL history. They are giving up a historic amount of yardage through the first 9 weeks of the season, and it is every team. It's come one, come all. You can pass on us. It doesn't matter which team is on the other side of the field. And, look, I'm not a Jared Goff fan, but he still has, some pretty good weapons on that side of the ball. And I think the Rams might be able to do enough on defense to at least limit what Russell Wilson can do.
Yeah, I think the Rams. So my initial look was towards the Seahawks. When in doubt, this year I'm going to want the right team, and I'm going to want the more efficient passing team. And it's drifted up, isn't it? You can probably get around plus 118 or so on the Seattle money line. But as I delved into it, there were some concerning things essentially that have kept me off it. So one is Aaron Donald versus possibly a backup centre. Ethan Pocic, the Seahawks centre, he's questionable. It sounds like there is a legitimate question whether he will play. And the backup is Kyle Fuller, also a cornerback, who's got 2 career starts. And that is just not going to be ideal against Aaron Donald, especially as Mike Iupati, the guard there, he's recently back in the lineup from an injury, but he's a better run blocker as well than a pass blocker. So I think there will be interior pressure. Now, obviously, Russell is good enough that he can avoid some of that and take that strain off, but it's still not ideal to get penetration up the middle, no matter who you are. And then on the outside, it sounds like they're probably going to match up Jalen Ramsey with monster DK Metcalf. And I would say if there's anyone in the league that can cover Metcalf one-on-one, and it's not been proven that there is yet, it's probably Jalen Ramsey. So if that could nullify what they do there somewhat. But then on the other side of that, the Rams defense, it is getting quite a lot of publicity, probably because of those 2 stars I mentioned, and they put up good numbers this year. But they've faced one of the easiest schedule of opposing offenses yet. They've not faced anyone like the Seahawks yet. So I still see the Seahawks getting theirs. And then as for the Rams, I think they will move the ball pretty consistently. Again, it's the pass rush. I think, like Brett mentioned there, if the pass rush in there, Goff can move the ball. McVay has had 2 weeks to scheme here with a bye, and so he's going to have more time than he needs to work out how to tear up this Seattle secondary because it's terrible. So essentially, I'm going back to my old reliable, and unfortunately opposite Brett with the over, because I'd also think that McVay will have watched that Bills tape last week and gone, oh right, they've just put up 44 points just by chucking the ball all over the yard. I can do that as well, actually. Why don't we just do the exact same thing? So I suspect that will be how he attacks them. I thought the over 54 was worth a bet.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a game where we find out a lot about Sean McVay, right? And we're going to find out if this guy is actually as sharp as we thought he was the last couple of years, because this Rams team is actually one of the more run-heavy teams in the NFL. Like they love to run the football. They're actually good at it. One of the more efficient teams at running the football. I mean, but when you look, I mean, teams pass the Rams run the ball 45% of the time, which in today's NFL is a ton, right? Like teams are more in the 60-40 range, whatever. They're like 55-45, but teams pass the ball against Seattle 68% of the time, because it is so easy to throw the ball on them. So is McVay sharp enough to get off of what he wants to do, which is run the ball almost at a 50-50 split, and go to a very pass-heavy offense against the obvious weakness of this team? So I think we'll learn pretty soon whether he is, pretty early in this game, whether he's going to be stubborn and say, hey, look, we run the ball well. I'm going to keep doing it. They're second in rush success rate on the season. They run block very, very well. But that's just not the path of least resistance to this Seahawks team. And so I'm going with the fact that, as you said, Brad, the guy's got eyes. He's got a tape, he's got a computer where he can watch film and he can see what's going on here. So I'm going with the old unfortunate assumption of rational coaching here, which has bit me in the ass a million times, but I'm going to assume rational coaching here. So Sean McVay, don't let me down. I'll take the Rams here in this game. I think the defense can limit just a little bit of what the Seattle Seahawks can do, and that'll be enough to get this thing done.